The first time I saw her, I almost didn't believe my eyes. The alien woman was unlike anything I had ever seen or imagined. She stood at the edge of the crystalline forest on the planet Navara 9, bathed in the soft glow of its twin suns. Her skin shimmered faintly in colors that shifted with every breath, from deep violet to glimmers of cerulean. And her eyes, well, her eyes were galaxies unto themselves, swirling with an intelligence that made my chest tighten. I was part of the human expedition sent to chart Navara 9, a remote planet known for its hostile environment and strange fauna. Our mission had been purely scientific. Observe, catalog, and return. But now, as I stood hidden behind a cluster of phosphorescent ferns, watching her move with a grace that defied gravity, I realized that this mission was about to become something far more personal. She didn't notice me at first. She was inspecting the forest floor, her hands brushing over the bioluminescent plants, tracing their veins with careful precision. Every movement was deliberate, elegant, as if she were in dialogue with the planet itself. My instincts screamed at me to stay hidden, to maintain the human observer's distance. But something in me, a reckless, undeniable pull, urged me to step forward. You're beautiful, I said before I could stop myself. The words hung in the air, awkward and raw. Immediately, I regretted them, fearing that she might view me as an intruder, an insult to her existence. But then she froze. Her eyes widened, shimmering like twin supernovas, and for a long moment nothing happened. She inhaled sharply, and then it was as though the very act of breathing had slipped from her control. I watched, horrified, as her chest rose and fell unevenly, a delicate, fragile rhythm that faltered at the edges. "Did you just speak?" she whispered, her voice melodic, resonant, but barely above the wind rustling the Niveran leaves. I did. I stammered. I meant that you're beautiful. Not in a foolish way, My words tangled. My throat suddenly felt too tight. She raised a hand to her throat, and the colors of her skin shifted rapidly, like lightning caught in liquid. It was then that I realized, the concept of human speech was not foreign to her, but the emotion behind it, our raw, unguarded truth, was something she had not encountered. My compliment had pierced her defenses in a way I had never anticipated. She blinked, and her eyes softened, the swirling galaxies within them calming. I did not expect that, she said finally. Humans speak differently than we anticipated. I swallowed hard. I'm not like the others, I said. I don't think I've ever met anyone like you. Her gaze locked onto mine, and in that instant, time itself seemed to stretch. The twin suns dipped lower on the horizon, casting long golden shadows, and I could feel the energy of the planet thrumming around us. She stepped closer, and the distance between us became a fragile bridge of possibility. You are unlike anything I imagined, she admitted. Her voice trembled slightly, a sound that made my heart pound. And yet, there is something familiar. I didn't answer. There was no need. My feelings were tangled in the thrum of the air, in the shimmer of her skin, in the unspoken connection that stretched between us. Instead, I simply took another step closer, careful, reverent, as if touching her would shatter the fragile moment. I'm human, I said softly. I don't know what you expect from me, but I want you to know. I mean what I said. You're beautiful. All of you. Your mind, your presence. Everything. He shivered. I could see the tension in her muscles, the delicate tremor that ran through her limbs. For a moment, she looked as though she might step back, retreat into the alien forest and disappear like a dream. But she didn't. Instead, she reached out, letting her fingers hover near mine. The colors along her arm pulsed gently, a rhythm that mirrored my own racing heartbeat. I, she began, then paused. Her gaze dropped to the ground. I do not know how to respond to this. I have lived centuries, seen countless beings, and yet, nothing prepared me for this. I smiled faintly, trying to offer comfort. Then don't respond. Just exist with me for this moment. Something shifted in her then. She allowed her hand to brush against mine, and the sensation was electric, a current that ran from her skin to mine and back again. The world seemed to fall away. The twin suns, the alien forest, even the soft hum of distant creatures, all became background to the singular moment of connection between us. She took a shaky breath, and for the first time since I had spoken, her chest moved with ease. The trembling eased as if my words had coaxed her very being into calm. And then she smiled, a curve of lips that made the constellations in her eyes flare with warmth. You have affected me in ways I cannot articulate, she said, her voice steadier now. Humans. You wield words like a weapon I never knew could heal. I laughed softly, amazed at the turn of events. I'm not a healer, I said. I just noticed you. That's all. No, she countered. You noticed more than I imagined possible. You saw me. Not the legend, not the form, not the expectation, but me. And in that instant I understood. Beauty was not just in her appearance, the shifting colors of her skin, the galaxies in her eyes, but in the vulnerability, the sentience, the raw and fragile intelligence that pulsed beneath it all. And she, in turn, recognized a humanity in me she had never encountered, one capable of perception, empathy, and truth. Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time had lost all meaning, while we simply existed side by side, words minimal, connection total. The twin suns slipped beyond the horizon, leaving the forest bathed in the gentle silver glow of Navara Nine's twin moons. The shadows stretched long, and the air became cool, but neither of us moved to leave. Finally she spoke, her voice barely audible above the soft rustling of the leaves. I wish to understand you better. Not just your words, but your thoughts, your fears, your desires. He nodded. And I wish to understand you. I don't even know where to begin. She reached out fully this time, taking my hand in hers. The skin of her palm was warm, surprisingly human in its softness, and the energy pulsing beneath it was intoxicating. Then we will begin, she said, her tone firm yet tender. We talked as the moons rose higher, sharing stories, laughter, confessions, and silences that spoke more than words ever could. I told her of Earth, of humanity's flaws and wonders, of our fleeting lifespans and stubborn hearts. She told me of her people, of centuries spent in the isolation of expectation, of the legends she carried like burdens on her shoulders. Through it all, I never once faltered in my admiration. And she, for her part, seemed to forget how to guard herself, how to hide behind the centuries of armor she had built. She breathed easier now, her body no longer trembling, but the intensity of her gaze never wavered. She had seen me, and I had seen her. At the first light of Navara Nine's dawn, she finally whispered, I did not think I would encounter a being capable of such simplicity, such honesty. And yet here you are, human. You are beautiful, not just in form but in essence. I laughed softly, shaking my head. I could say the same about you. Her lips curved, and the stars in her eyes seemed to shine brighter than ever before. Then perhaps, she said, we are both fortunate. He nodded. Yes, we are. And in that alien forest, under the twin suns' fading light and the awakening moons, a human and an alien woman stood together, united not by species or expectation, but by something far rarer. The recognition of beauty in each other, the acceptance of vulnerability, and the fragile, infinite power of truth. I had told her she was beautiful. And in the process she had found her breath again. Not from my words alone, but from the connection we had forged, a bridge between worlds that neither of us would ever forget. As I looked into her eyes, galaxies swirling with light and life, I realized that we had both been given a gift. Not a kingdom, not a title, not a discovery, but a shared understanding of existence itself. Fragile, wondrous, and infinitely beautiful. And that, I thought, is how it always begins.